Let's see. All right, you guys, welcome back to Engineering and Empire podcast. As you know, I'm Adam Steele, and I'm joined today with a special guest, Aaron, one of our members. Aaron, tell them a little bit about who you are real fast.
So just like a quick backstory, my name is Aaron Rivera, born in New York, raised in New Jersey, pretty much spent my whole life there.
East Coast?
Yeah, I'm an East Coast guy. Very different lifestyle from being on the West Coast.
For sure.
For sure. Like, very different. It's actually funny, I'm just like a sidetrack, but the people that you meet here on the West Coast that are from the East Coast, it's like we immediately click because we just know the lifestyle is so different.
Right.
And even just like character-wise, it's like, I don't understand Californians. I don't think I ever will, but they're nice people. Can't say anything bad about them. Raised in Florida, raised in New Jersey, spent most of my time there. Moved to Florida about 3 years ago, spent about 2.5 years there, and then now I'm here.
Yes,
So,
and you were in the Marines, right?
I was, yes.
Also in the service. Dope,
Yes.
dope.
I was. That's not something I feel like some people boast about it, some people don't. It's just not something I feel necessary to bring up because I don't want people to base my whole personality around it.
I think that's fair. Like I get that a lot, obviously. I had a fairly long career in the military, so it's kind of natural. But a lot of people join the service, you know, that they go through, get the benefits, go to school, you know, live their lives. Like it's a stepping stone in a lot of places. A lot of, I think, good youth use the military. It's kind of like growing up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Teaches you structure. There's a lot of great things, and so I advocate for that. Like, would I enlist now? Hell no.
It's a very different time.
Yeah.
One of my best friends is a recruiter for about 3 years in New Jersey, and he's like, man, because I joined in 2014.
Right.
Just from then till now, he's like, dude, it's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Like just the rules, the standards, the way they conduct everything.
Yeah.
I still, obviously, I still have faith and, I believe in our military, but it's just a very different time.
I believe in what this country stands for, not what this country is.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, and I fought long and hard for this country, and it's sad, but it is what it is. And that's a whole other thing we can get into, but anyway, welcome, bro. Like, this should be fun. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Excited.
So, real quick, I guess topic-wise, this Engineering and Empire podcast, a lot of people ask me questions. We dive into, essentially like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Things that people find interesting. I know recently, we've talked and gotten to know each other a little bit, and you've gotten kind of into the media editing space and doing things. And you started kind of learning how you can work for yourself, getting ready to replace your current income and stuff like that, and then venture forward. I think that's a cool story. You're telling me about, fill us in a little bit about how you got into it. I love that it was kind of accidental. I think a lot of great things that you find that you're good at, and I think naturally, when people are like, oh, find something you're good at, and at your age, young people, say early 20s, out of school, or right there, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not Alex Hermosi. I'm not already going into a defense job and then I wanted to get into fitness. I'm not Mark Cuban who went to school for coding design and created a gambling app, you know what I mean, and things like that. A lot of people have no idea. They see all these success stories and they're just like, what? And I think it's really great when people just kind of go about their life, they're working, and they come across something that they find interest in, and it's just kind of almost accidental. And I think that's a great example of one way of finding your way.
But yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna quote my mother right now because she's
awesome.
a very wise woman. Nothing happens by accident. Everything always happens for a purpose and for a reason. And it's crazy because, like we were talking about yesterday, hindsight's always 20/20.
For sure.
I look back now, and I know a year, 2 years from now, I'm gonna look back and say wow, everything happened exactly how it was supposed to.
Yeah.
But as far as how that started, so I guess I'll kind of backtrack just to kind of give, I'm 26, give some of the youth a little bit of advice. Part of the reason I joined the military initially was because I was one of those guys that was like, man, I hate school, don't know what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah.
I was like, let's build a buffer. But that's something I understood was this is a buffer just to give me time to process thought. And
what do you mean by buffer?
So basically it's I'm not buying time, but I'm giving myself something to do while I try and figure out what the next step is.
So you mean by that like it's like a day job or something?
Essentially, yeah. It's almost like how people come out of college and they find a job that they can do before they get the job that their degree actually allows them
the
to.
job they want. Right.
Exactly,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was something that just kind of gave me time and space and something to do, and also understanding how to build structure and things like that just in my life so that I could eventually figure out what I wanted to do. And for a long time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So we'll kind of fast forward to now. Living in Florida, I was kind of like not necessarily working on content. I was like, man, like I'm in pretty good shape. A lot of people hit me up on Instagram and stuff like that, mostly friends and stuff. Like, hey, how did you grow into what you're doing now? And like, how did you get in shape? How did you do this? Because, you know, I was a heavy kid growing up.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's important. I think it's value and important to notice that on your platform, if you get a chance, you guys checking out Aaron's platform, and we'll put it up on here on the screen right now. That you had a pretty serious transformation. I think that's amazing for anyone. Especially it wasn't like you were like a little chubby kid and then like through puberty and all these things, like I see these like ridiculous people these days on Instagram and other platforms like, oh, transformation, you know, Thursday or whatever. And it's like a picture from when they were like fucking in high school or something. And it's like, this is like pre-pubescent, like,
literally.
Like congratulations, you grew up. Like
pretty much.
And so like when you see someone who has like a real transformation where like, you know, you were in your 20s already and you made conscious decisions and then changed your life, like making healthy decisions. I think that's huge and worth mentioning. So be able to see that, and then it makes sense with how you kind of got in that direction.
Yeah, just to kind of speak on that really quick. So technically, I had 2 transformations.
Nice.
And that's what makes it crazier. So I was heavy pretty much always, like growing up, I was a heavier kid. My mom likes to call me husky because that's a nice term of saying I was fat, you know. My mom doesn't want to hurt my feelings. I was big boned, you know.
That's also a thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Just kidding. No, it's true. Listen, I hope she sees this and realizes, like, man, like it's true. Do some research, you know, you'll know. But I appreciate her for trying to salvage my feelings.
Yeah, of course.
But I was heavier growing up. The only reason I really started getting in shape was because I started like falling in love with basketball as I was a little bit older, took it a little bit more serious, and then understanding, hey, like there's a certain requirement to join the Marine Corps. It's like I kind of had to like start moving a little bit.
Yeah.
So the first time I got in shape was actually through the military. So I joined, went to boot camp, came back. Before I joined, I was probably like 220 at like 16, 17, which I don't know if you guys know, like you don't really have a lot of muscle mass. It's pretty much all fat. That's a pretty hefty weight for that size.
Oh, dude, at 16, I joined the Army. I weighed 137.
It's complete opposite sides of this spectrum.
I was a runt, bro.
See, but you know, looking back though, I have to say I'm grateful for the fact that I was a bigger kid because it kind of helped me develop now, and like now I have a larger stature, and that wasn't something that was hard for me, and like putting on muscle and stuff now is not necessarily a challenge, which you being on the other side, you're probably like, I hate you because
dude, I have to eat like a horse every day, bro. Like I have to go outside and just cut a cow's head off and then just
I could eat like 2 pieces of celery a day and probably stay the same weight.
That's awesome. Good for you.
It's pretty cool. Like, it's nice.
Hey, there's a double-edged sword with everything, and it has its advantages.
Yeah. The disadvantage is I look at calories and I'm just like, just blow up.
You're like Christmas time. You're like.
I'm like, maybe I'll just still eat healthy, which I usually do. Like, but again, that's my mom kind of instilled that in us.
That's
she
good,
eventually realized, like, hey, like, you know, I'm kind of feeding into your lifestyle, so maybe I should kind of switch. So, chicken and rice and vegetables and all that stuff, she implemented that in an early age.
Cool.
But eating second, third, fourth plates didn't really help.
Right. It's so good.
But then joining the military, got in shape, came out of boot camp, I was 175. It's
Dang.
the first time I'd ever seen an ab in my life.
That's awesome.
It was pretty insane. After I finished like all my job, school and everything, I went back up to like 190 because my body naturally is like, hey, we want to gain weight. So I looked pretty full. I was in pretty good shape. Fast forward a little bit, sustained some like pretty serious injuries.
Oh shit.
But it's not like, oh, I broke my leg. It was more so like over time, just the wear and tear. So I was diagnosed with arthritis in my left hip at 19.
Wow.
And I have degenerated discs in my lower back.
Jesus.
Yeah, my shoulders are like pretty messed up. My knees are pretty much arthritis everywhere.
Oh, damn.
And it got to the point where like I would get out of bed and literally just throw my back out. So I didn't exercise for probably almost like a year.
Wow.
And this was kind of like where I went through like a dark phase of my life.
Yeah, I can imagine that was challenging mentally.
It was very, because all I knew at that point was like, I don't want to revert back to who I was.
Right.
And what ended up happening was I reverted back to who I was like 2x. And at the time, like I had a girlfriend who was very supportive, like really just wanted the best for me. Kind of also fed into like the negativity aspect, but not with ill intent. It was pretty much like, I just want to see you happy and I'm sorry you're going through this. So her way of showing love was making sure that I was fed and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So after sustaining those injuries, about a year of unemployment and not working out, I went from like being 200 pounds to about 280 pounds. Literally,
Holy
like
shit.
this, like
280? Yeah.
So that's where most of the transformation that people are gonna see is like, I was just a mess. Didn't take care of myself, never cared about cutting my hair, didn't care about my appearance. Like all I wanted to do was I just wanted to just wallow in self-pity.
Yeah, just exist, yeah.
I pretty much at that point was like, man, if I could just exist and nobody noticed me, I'd be super happy. So it was from one day to the next. I remember waking up one day, looking in the mirror, I was like, am I really gonna let these injuries control the rest of my life? Because in my head, I'm a long-term thinker, right?
Of course.
It's like, I'd like to believe unless something tragic happens, I'm probably gonna live to be like 80.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I really gonna sit here and be like this for the rest of my life? Or am I gonna allow these negative habits and these negative thoughts to control me to where now, I might pass due to health issues at 50. So I was like, looked at myself and I was like, I don't want that life anymore.
Yeah.
Let's learn rehab. Let's figure out what I can do instead of focusing on what I can't do. And then from then till now, it's been about, including COVID, because I kind of was on and off. But right now it's been about 2.5 years that I've been consistent, and it's quite a bit of a difference. So I just applied the intensity that I knew and the knowledge that I had and just put it to work. Just making the right choice every day. That's really all you can do,
Yeah, 100%.
So, but yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
So fast forwarding, I guess, from that, kind of just to go back on how I got into the media side of things in the business. So it all kind of ties in. So I started, people saw that firsthand, like, hey, like, you went from being 280 to now you're in good shape. Like, that's, like, how did you do that? So I started recording my own workouts, mostly just on my iPhone. Didn't really do much editing. And I kind of got really interested in like, hey, this is something that, I could see myself doing for, a longer time. And I wanted to kind of get myself out there. So from being on my own social media platform, just kind of learning that, eventually investing in the tools to properly be able to edit, record, and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was all just me doing it myself. And then, come to now, I eventually had people kind of hitting me up like, hey, like, I kind of like the work that you're doing. I like the way you put things together.
Yeah, it looks good.
Would you be willing to, maybe throw some edits together for me? And even when I thought about it, and I was like, man, I could offer free work and just get practice. So that's kind of what I started doing. And then, eventually people were like, hey, I'd pay you to do this. So then that's where I stumbled upon it on accident. So where it was like, people wanted to pay me to do what I did for myself already. So then I kind of just took that and just ran with it. And now I found a second love, outside of like
nice, bro.
working out and bodybuilding and stuff.
So. I think this might hold some value, like, honestly. So when you had that moment, backtracking a little bit, had that moment of looking in the mirror and being like, dude, do I want to like live the rest of my life like this and all those things? What was the shift? Like, what did your daily shift look like getting back into shape?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, what was like the process? The changes you made, like getting up, like what did you just like the cooking, the workouts, like just give us an example of like some of the major shifts.
The main thing I would say was creating structure. So it was like waking up and understanding the second my feet hit the ground, because that's the way I like to reference it, is you're not up until your feet hit the ground.
Right.
If you're laying in bed, you're not. You're still not up.
Being a lazy ass, yeah.
So the second my feet hit the ground, my brain knows like, hey, from now until you fall asleep, today, worry about today only, make the right choice for everything. What that means is, if I want to go and like just eat whatever, it's no, you don't do that. Now we meal prep.
Cool.
It's shifting like, okay, we're counting calories and we're paying attention to what we're eating.
Like what you're taking in, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And like just thinking, hey, like I woke up today, it's a great day to be alive, it's a great day to move. I'm grateful that I even can move. Because yes, having injuries, it's like I'm not paralyzed.
Yeah.
Some people don't even have the opportunity to move every day.
I think that's huge. I think that like gratitude, like being grateful, like it sounds cheesy. A lot of people I don't think get it, but like you can be in a lot of situations, they can be dark, they can be really bad, but I guarantee you somewhere it could be a lot worse.
That's literally the way I thought about it.
Yeah.
Was it could be much worse. I wouldn't even, there's some people that literally can't even get out of bed.
Yeah.
Somebody has to help them sit up in the morning. So it's just understanding I'm grateful that I have today. I'm grateful that I can move.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to even be alive. And also that was a big thing to where it was focusing on self-love and understanding that is a big form of self-love.
Yeah.
It's taking care of myself. So I pretty much understanding, hey, today, make the right choice today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's not here. You have enough to worry about today. You have enough to worry about right now. Let's make the right choice every step of the way. So just focusing on what I'm eating, how I'm moving, that was a big thing. Because I went from not moving to, okay, what can I do now? Okay, I can walk. All right, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, now I can start running again. Now I'm gonna do that. Okay, I can go to the gym. Now I'm gonna do that. And just doing as much as I could and pushing myself to the point of like wanting to quit every day is very important. It's like, if you're not pushing yourself to the point of like, man, this sucks, like you're probably not doing enough.
Yeah, if you're not making it hard.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand how to gauge individual intensity.
Yeah.
But because having the military background, I understood that. It's like, I might think I'm tired, but I'm only at 30%.
Yeah.
I have a lot more to go. So just physically pushing myself as much as I can every single day and understanding I can only do that today, I can only do that right now, so let's do that. That's literally from then till now, that's just what I've done and applied every single day.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I think that's great. Like I remember watching an older video of Tom Platz, the Godfather legs, talking about like no matter what, like whether you have a trainer or somebody there or your self-discipline is you always have to know that like you might be dying, you might be in pain, you want to give up and cry, you always have 5 more.
100%.
You always got 5 more in you. Because the body can go harder than what the mind believes in.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. You might feel like, oh, it burns. And it's crazy because I think about this because I challenge anybody watching this, go throw a light weight on any exercise. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you do 100, 200 reps, right? It's gonna burn, but the funny thing is the weight will always come up, right? The weight's gonna come up until it physically drops on you.
Exactly.
You're gonna be able to run until your legs physically can't.
Yeah,
there's a higher
physically
limit.
collapse.
There is a physical limit and there's a mental limit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I guess, don't understand the difference. And I'll tell you right now, and I'm pretty sure you understand from probably going through a lot of like intense hikes and doing a lot of like different exercises like in the field and stuff like that, is your body will tell you, your body will stop when it wants to.
Yeah, it'll stop when it has to.
Yeah, it'll stop when it has to versus your mind telling you, okay, maybe it's time to stop.
Yeah, oh, maybe I don't like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like doing a plank. You're just sitting there, you're shaking, you're like, oh man, this is awful, but it's like, it's crazy because you're still up.
Yeah, and how is it that the record's like over like 27 hours or something, you know what I mean?
The crazy thing is like,
people crying about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and this guy just planked for like a day. Like, how do you not, I'm surprised he didn't fall asleep in the planking
Yeah, they say, didn't he win a car or something?
Honestly, maybe.
It's super funny. But yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. And I think that's great because not only did you make the conscious decision to improve your life because you needed to, you needed to stay alive, you needed to survive, but it also naturally brought you into a place and a position to where you found something you are passionate about that you really enjoy, and then you became really talented and like better at it than other people, to where it started getting recognizable, and people started recognizing it to the fact that they want to start compensating you for it. Yeah. And then everything by accident through the universe is still intentional. You made it, and then here you are. There you go, man.
It's exciting because, and I realize now that this was one of the things I was meant for, mostly because as a kid I was always very creative. Like
nice.
my mom could never ground me because she could take everything away and I'd still find a way to entertain myself.
That's cool. Like, dude, our imagination and artistic expression is huge for the brain. Yeah.
And it's funny because I can't draw to save my life. Like, there's a lot of things artistically. Musically, I'm very declined. Like, can't play an instrument. I have rhythm, but I can't do anything like that. But when it comes to organizing like a story or just kind of seeing things from a different perspective, that's something where I've always had it. And I just never knew how to, it's not that I never knew how to apply it, I didn't have an avenue that I could apply it.
Right.
So this kind of gave me that platform to say, hey, like, now's the time to kind of showcase the capabilities of your brain. Mm-hmm. And the best thing is that I'm having a blast doing it. Like,
that's fucking awesome.
I genuinely enjoy it. Even though I'm very busy, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I have to do this today. It's like, I look forward to doing it every day. So
hell yeah, man.
It's exciting. It's a good time.
Exciting. And that sounds exciting. It's fun. I love watching it. It's freaking sweet. I can't wait to get some of our stuff going and seeing what you can do. It's amazing.
That's the goal. So to kind of reverse this a little bit, to ask you a question, because I know the big thing that we talk about is scaling. And scaling business is very important. Even though I'm still in the beginning stages, it's important to understand the path that you want to take. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a path that you want to take, you're going to get stuck in the same place forever. So what can you kind of, I guess, to give people advice that are kind of in the same, area, not necessarily the area as me, but, small business owner just kind of getting started, what's important to focus on now and how can we scale that bigger?
Like what's important for like you or like small businesses in general?
I would say small businesses in general.
So like a framework of scaling?
Yes.
Okay.
Like what should you do before you start to scale?
Okay, yeah, it's usually a lot of people I think get hung up on this. That's why there's a lot of businesses that are one location, like restaurants, family restaurants, or services, things like that, where it's just like this one guy that does it, and I think a lot of people like have it's a different mindset. And when it comes to scaling, I would say the easiest way to framework this, I could use my friend who's an architect, so he has his own firm, been working for himself for 13 years, and now he has, I believe, 6 employees, and they're doing really well, fantastic. And what it was is that you can do this, and I kind of told you this, and like you also have awareness of it, that anything you do, like say it's a service base, right? Like I do welding, manufacturing, like I do welding jobs with my mobile rig, like just starting out. You can only go and do so much as one person, right?
Yes.
And then you think, okay, I'm going to buy all the right tools. I'm going to practice and become the best at what I do. So thus thinking that, okay, I would be smart to start my own business so I can pay myself, and make my own money because I believe I'm better at this than anyone else. And that should be the mindset going into starting any business. If you think you can provide something that's necessary and you can provide it better than anyone else, that's when you should start a business. Make sense?
Yes.
Then how do you grow a business is, okay, well, I'm the only one who can do it, so I have limitations. I have only me, only my 2 hands, only my 1 brain, and only the tools that I can use at my disposal. So with that, you have yourself and time. So your single person can only do so much in, say, 1 day.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to look at it like buying tools or buying a new truck and things like this. When you want to scale anything, you have to look at it as investing. And it can seem scary and it can seem very hard, but you need to be like, okay, I'm ready to buy a new truck or a new piece of equipment or office space or whatever. You have to think that same way about spending money as you would be training someone, because then you're like, okay, I know that now I could take on more work if I had more people. Is the demand there? Yes, you have demand. You have people calling you. I was having to turn jobs down as a good example because I didn't have enough time for my schedule. And people didn't want to wait like a whole year, and so I'm like, okay, cool. If I hire one guy and I train him to do the same quality and same, in the same time amount of work that I could produce, like an apprentice, and help me to produce more work as 2 people, a team, than 1 person, I could produce work faster and better, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so I invested in hiring. So I hire somebody. So in my mind, you need to be aware that, okay, for that, you have a training period with anything. You have to train your team, your employees. You have to build your culture, right? So I'm like, okay, this is going to cost me X amount. And so it's usually really difficult because people can't seem to figure it out. But you have to be like, okay, I need $10,000 this month or next month or for the next 2 months to pay somebody part-time or full-time. And I have to understand that they're not going to immediately come in and I'm going to start making more money. I have to train them to do the same level of work or near quality or assist me in producing that work, right? And so you need to be able to think investing and expanding your business is like investing in equipment and tools. Essentially, someone who's helping you is a tool in helping you succeed, right? In doing that. And so you need to be, but you need to understand it's an investment you have to be ready to make, because you have to be in the position to spend the money and the time for training and equipment or whatnot, including the individual, like their pay, their payroll or salary, to do that. And once you do that, then you can understand, okay, now I'm in a place to where I can take on more work. I might be able to start advertising instead of just word of mouth. And then you can fill your book and your schedule. Now you have more that your team now can take on.
Yes.
All right? And that's one simple way. And then when you start to book that out and you see it to where you're hitting like your maximum potential of production, okay, let's bring another person on. And then let's keep training that same individual. And so everybody starts to level up as you climb and you bring another person in, and then you start to keep growing your team to produce the job in a timely manner, because provide the same quality, but I'm stretching myself too thin.
Yes.
So I've never owned a gym before. I just created it from nothing, right? But I'm not an idiot when it comes to business, and I can learn really fast. And if I can learn what everyone else is doing, I can definitely do it better.
So sorry,
Because that's what makes me good at it.
to interrupt you really quickly. So, because I think a lot of people undervalue your ability to learn.
100%.
I think learning how to learn and learning how you learn is such an underrated skill that people don't consider. Because like you just said, it's like, if I don't know it, I can probably figure it out because I understand how to teach myself.
100%.
And that's something where I feel like is a big factor in the reason why you're so successful now. So
I think I'll have to agree with you. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the warehouse. Like most people think this is my primary business. This is my smallest business. You know, this is my side project. You know, but what I was doing is it mattered to the community. It was providing a service that was better than everyone else.
true.
Granted. I was building a brand that people believed in, and I provided a safe and fun environment, and it mattered. So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to now get my time and energy, so I'm going to keep building the warehouse. But what I did is I found Mel, and she was a successful general manager of a Planet Fitness, so a large chain. She had that corporate experience. She had grown her location. She had worked at several others and had intimate knowledge of their, the ins and outs of working in that position for over a year. So what do? I went to find somebody who was doing it for a much larger platform, like a larger company and brand, and I hired them. So I found somebody who was better at running a gym than me, and then I hired them to run my gym. And then I was able to then focus on everything else, like the website. I had a friend offer me, oh, hey, my guy could help you build your website. It's like $10,000 to $15,000. It might take like 2 to 3 months. I'm like, I've got like 25 days, and I've never done coding. Asked me 2 months ago if I would ever like get into coding or software development and design. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I still remember our first conversation when you were like, man, I've watched so many YouTube videos.
Yeah,
in the
I'm
past
just
3 days.
and this is like invention through necessity. Like I needed to do it, and like just like I needed to build the war machines because like I was doing this at the beginning of COVID, and I just had my welding shop. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I know physiology, and I know I can build shit. I'm like, but I'm sure as fuck not gonna spend $8,000 on a pendulum squat from a shitty company like Arsenal Strength. That's a garbage ass machine. And I'm like, I know I could build it better. And I'm like, sweet, so that's what the fuck I did.
Yeah.
I created a much better platform and a much better machine. And now we have the war machine, And it was just invention through necessity. I was like, oh, I could just buy that. That's a lot of money. I'm just like, I can do it better, And then like our website, like I had no choice, and we got $50,000, $60,000 revenue every month, and I'm like, that's going to come to a grinding halt if we don't have a website, with automated payments and this entire system because we grew out of Square. So I took my ass to fucking school. I decided to learn how to do it, and it sure as shit was not overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing too is, and it's kind of, I've been able, just from talking to you, applying this to myself, is even if it's something that you want to do,
Yeah.
you have to create the need. It's the same thing as, in fitness and just generally in life. If you want to get somewhere, you have to create a need for it. Because if you just want something, everybody wants something,
Yeah.
right? But when you turn it into, I need this, there comes that desperation factor where you're like, okay, I have to do whatever it takes to be able to get from point A to point B.
Exactly. It's invention through necessity. You need it, so you're going to figure it out.
Literally, it's like if you we need to eat, we need to drink water.
Yeah, so you're gonna figure out how to work and how to sustain yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
How to provide. You're gonna go out and hunt if you need to provide. You know what I mean? And end of the day, and so like if it's something that I know and I say I have time, and it's gonna put money in my pocket rather than take it out of my pocket, then I'm happy to hire somebody to do something for me that I know they're gonna be good at or better than me. Just like Elon Musk. He needs to put a Tesla in space, and there's advanced physics and logistics and engineering. Sweet. Well, I highly doubt that he's the smartest man on the planet at physics and engineering, so he hired the smartest people. What it is intelligent people who are smart enough to know that they don't know everything, but they have the resources to find those who do. You know what I mean?
What's super interesting to me too, like just from a business perspective, is the business owner is never the smartest person in the room.
No.
To me, I'm understanding that now. It blows my mind, which is also because a big thing that, I kind of struggled with this when I was a little bit younger and kind of grown out of it is pride and ego, right? Pride and ego will destroy so many things that you have the potential to do. And I also undervalued potential because I was one of those kids where it's like, you have so much potential to do this and this, and I never understood it. But I realized it's being willing to let go of okay, I have to do this alone, or I have to be the best at this, or I have to be the smartest at this. Once you can kind of move past that, it's crazy how much more you can do. Because like we literally just said, right, Elon Musk is a smart guy. He sits in a room full of people that are more intelligent than he is, and look at what he's built. And like you just said, it's like, okay, I can do this. I don't necessarily have the time, but let me go find somebody better at it, because I understand that that's more important.
Yeah, it's leveraging your time. If it's going to save me time and money to do it myself, I'm going to learn how to do it. I don't care what it is. But if I know that it's not going to be a value of my time and resources, then I should go ahead and probably pay somebody who I know could do it faster, because they already know and they're already practiced and very good at it, and I want that person on my team. You know, so that's a perfect example. And not to change the pivot too much, but I've been seeing a lot of this online, and you talked about pride and ego will destroy men, and then or destroy anyone, you know, because yeah, they can be very toxic. But a business owner is not necessarily the smartest person in the room. The business owner is usually the wisest person in the room, because all the other people in the room are there because of them.
Wow.
And so you're not necessarily the smartest person. And like Elon Musk surrounds himself with people who are smarter than him, but they're smarter at that topic. They're smarter, they went to school for that one thing. You know what I mean? And so they're vastly intelligent in that sector, or in that, you know, that genre, direction, whatever, you know, that practice, that, you know, that education. And that's exactly what he needs. It's like having the right tool for the job, you know? So he is the mechanic, his team are the tools, and the problem is the car that broke down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he needs to put that fucking car in space.
That'll be kind of interesting. He's gonna create some kind of Tesla map through the moon or something.
Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
He's probably gonna create an app or something.
Interesting ideas. What's funny too is he's such a troll. I don't know if you've ever heard. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But to kind of sidetrack, I guess, you know, from Elon Musk, just to kind of break it down Barney style. I'm pretty sure you've heard that terminology before. So when it comes to scaling, okay, I just kind of want to get this to make sure I have it right, and just for the people that are going to consume this. So step one is, like, as far as even starting a business, is knowing the skill, right? Not necessarily, or if you want to start a business, learn the skill, master the skill, right? That would be step 1 and 2. Master it or max it out. Get the necessary tools to help you max it out completely. Then from there, it would be, okay, I'm as good at this as I can possibly be. Now, how can I duplicate it in somebody else? Or let me find somebody like-minded to be able to multiply my work capacity. And then from there, you kind of just continue to apply that last step, and then just continue to build it out.
Yes, okay. So yeah, step 1, what makes you think you can fucking run a business? Okay, so if you want to scale anything, say even just scaling from zero, starting, okay, you need to know that 1, you can do it, and you can do it better. So you should be doing it for yourself. Okay, 2, have you done it so good and created a brand that people recognize you, that now your schedule is full and you can no longer produce more than you've reached your max capacity? Say your amount of labor in 8 to 10 hours, you can't take on anymore. Okay? So we've hit our production limit. How do we expand production? Step 3, can you teach, or can you find the right person and skills to expand your team and your ability to produce more, right? Step 3, rinse and repeat. And then start advertising.
And then just continue to do that, and then just make sure you get it out to the people that need it.
Exactly. And then, so yeah, I think that's important. And then wrapping that up real quick, back to the whole pride and ego thing. When we were talking about it, people think that, oh, it's important to be humble because nobody likes a douche, right? But at the same time, I know that I have a lot of friends that are like architects, artists, designers, you know, they're in creative spaces. And they started to scale and become successful, and recognize, you know, they become recognized for their efforts and things like that. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not supposed to have an ego and I can't be prideful. And I'm like, so they get hung up in imposter syndrome. And a lot of people, I think, society is so ridiculous because it's so forceful, like, you know, it's so omniscopic, it's so like one way. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, you can't say this, or you can't do that. Cancel culture. Like, oh, that's bad. This is, you know, this and that. And I'm like, people need to just shut up. Like, honestly, you don't know. Like, this is how it is. You need to be proud, and you need to have an ego. You can't, 1, get rid of your ego. That's insane. Okay? Everybody has a small narcissist built inside of them. Everybody has a little bit of an ego, or you'd feel like shit about yourself.
That's true.
Right?
There is definitely a healthy
So
amount of ego,
100%.
for
So
sure.
you need to find the balance. You want to be humble, but at the same time, you need to be able to produce. So it's like that whole thing, because then we could look at like Watson Fit and all that. You need to be a fucking badass, bitch. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing, it's fucking like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like, you need to be a fucking lion. You're not a sheep. You know what I mean? All that shit. That fucking ridiculous, fucking low IQ ass motivation shit. And it's just like, cool, man. Like, but it's not necessarily wrong. You do need those aspects, but it's always like way over here or fucking way over here. People who are successful that you've never heard of because they don't need to yell online like a bunch of dipshits are right here. You know what they have is they have enough ego to know that they can do it, so they're confident in their ability. And they're proud of what they do, so they keep fucking doing it. And they don't stop. And they know they can handle it. Like, I'm not saying I'm an ego, like, oh, I could build a good website and all that. It's fucking like the second or third time I've ever had to do it, and it like was way more integrative as far as the technology and learning more. But my ego, you could say, or my confidence, I was smart enough to know that, one, I could figure it out, and two, I'm gonna do it whatever the fuck, I'm gonna do it no matter what. Like, and I know that I'm that person that can, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else or anything. I just know, but I need to have that inside me. I need to be aware of it and not shun it away or overbear it like a fucking redneck diesel dumbass. You know what I mean? I don't need to be a bag of hammers doing burpees talking about God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know, and I don't need to be over here thinking I need to bow down like, you know, during the anthem like a fucking cis bitch. You know, like, that's just fucking crazy, you know? You need to be able to like handle yourself. So you need to have pride, and you need to have ego, and you need to have fucking balance. You know what I mean? And like, you're never gonna get anywhere, because if you're worried about what people think, I feel like the number one problem with most people is they're too full of shit about, oh, I can't do this, I have trauma, my feelings. Like, you need to get over yourself if you want to get on with yourself.
Yeah.
Write that down.
It's funny because we had a conversation about that yesterday, actually, where we were talking, because, you know, we were kind of just talking about, like, you know, what we were going to talk about, just general things like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of saying, like, everybody has a past. And
Yeah.
everybody has a different level of heart.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I
For
didn't
sure.
touch too much on it, but, you know, there's, you know, like I said, I sustained a couple injuries. I was unemployed for a long time. There was, you know,
You went through it.
Relationship with my parents wasn't very good. And, you know, I could dive more in, not necessarily that I have to, but there was a level of hard that I had to overcome.
100.
Where a lot of people may or may not say that they could have, but like you said yesterday, it's like you kind of have to go through it, and understanding that everybody has their own thing, right?
Everybody.
But the biggest thing that we kind of moved on from that point was, or took from that point was, both of us, the things that we went through was like, we don't let that define us. Everything that has happened to us for a reason. It builds character. Like, me and my one friend joke about this all the time. It's like a video game. It's like, it's character development.
Yeah.
Or it's like a TV show.
Like we said, perfect example. Like, yeah, yesterday it was learning the hard way. Like, 99% of life is learning the hard way. Oh, fuck, that's hot. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, because guess what? If I just walk around it and I'll never know what that experience is like. To a point, you have to learn the hard way. Like, you know what I mean? You have to have the experience. You have to go through it.
Absolutely.
That's the human experience. You know, and I think a lot of people discount it and like don't realize it. And like I said, you need to get over yourself to get on with yourself. If you're just gonna talk about your traumas and all this and how I overcame that, like, what good are you? Like, you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna call your ass and ask if you can help me move a couch, because I know you're fucking hung up on crying. Like, you know what I mean? And you're literally a worthless person. Like, there's necessary evil, there's good and bad to everything. It is what it is. But yeah, like I think a lot of people, oh, you can't be prideful and the ego is gonna destroy you. I'm like, dude, you actually, like, your ego is part of your consciousness. Like, you need to recognize that and stop being afraid of everything. And like, oh, I don't want to say that, like, because I'll sound bad or dumb. Like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah, it's accepting that things are the way they are is totally okay.
yeah, and it's like, the best thing you can do is fucking get up and like do the best you can at being a little bit better than you were yesterday, whether that's like being a kinder person or a stronger person or standing up for yourself or being more assertive or choosing to not accept your conditions and your circumstances and doing something about it. I was the same way. Dude, I've been broken more times than I can count. Like just when we went and had the follow up on my back, I like took a fucking quick screenshot. I've had 9 major surgeries in the last 6 or 7 years just at Sharp.
Wow.
Like just at Sharp, just one hospital. That doesn't even include the other 5 states and 16 fucking countries I was in a hospital.
It's crazy because I talked about how I've had back injuries. It's like you've had 10x back injuries. But the biggest thing is both of us, even though you being a little bit older, you've still come out on the positive and winning side of that.
Yeah, I mean, you choose just like you said. You can make that conscious decision. Is this where you're gonna stay or are you gonna get past it? And yeah, it's gonna fucking suck. Yes, it's hard. All of this is super hard. But that's what life is about. It's the experience. Like, you have to accept it and like choose. You have to choose it and do it. You know what I mean? And like you were saying, like how we talk about like everybody. There isn't a perfect family unit on this planet. Everyone's got trauma. Everyone's got, stuff. And like, sharing your story now and then like helping people like feel motivation from it. I'm like, when people realize that everyone's got a fucking story and stop crying about it, we'll all do better. I'm like,
it's true.
Because like everything is hard. My story might sound harder to so many people. Your story might sound worse than to a whole lot more people and things like that. But everyone has a bad story and everyone's level of overcoming it is exactly what they can tolerate. There isn't a such thing as a harder or worse, because every individual is as unique as your thumbprint, has experienced and got through it individually on their own, and that's everyone's level of hard. And it's all the same. Like, it doesn't matter if it sounds worse, because unless you go through it exactly how I go through it, then it's just the same, because you went through your own, I went through my own. Everybody's level is the same, because you can only go through what you've been, right? You can't say, I can experience someone else's life. You know what I mean? It is. So it's all different. So it's your level of hard,
One thing that's odd to me is that people love to it's like the pity party. People love to compare but I went through this and you went through this but mine was harder than yours. It's like, why can't we all it's like, I'm going to make an odd comparison, like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James, who's the GOAT debate, right? I'm not going to touch on it. I'm not going to give my opinion, LeBron James. But it's funny because it's like, why can't we just talk about it, appreciate what happened, and understand that we're both winners at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's like we came out of it. It's like, good job. Like, you did something.
They're both good athletes. One talks too much.
It's like why can't we just appreciate the fact that it's like, listen, you went through this, I went through this, instead of saying like, you went through this, well, I went through this. It's like, I'm proud of you for going what you went through and coming out a winner. It's like, why can't we just do that?
That's what humanity would get a lot further, a lot faster if we stop comparing. And at the end of the day, when you show up here at the warehouse, I'm just like, what's up, bro? It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's like,
that's it. It's that simple. I'm like, I'm stoked you made it.
Yeah, it's like, welcome. That's literally, it's funny. You'll be like, hey man, glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm just stoked. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm glad you made it in.
Yeah.
This might sound crazy. I'm not like religious or anything like that, but Dolly Parton in the movie Steel Magnolias, I think it won like some awards. Like a not a romantic, just like a drama, a famous movie back in like the 90s or something. And she said, she's like, come to church with me, dear. It'll do you some good. And the gal goes, I'm not Baptist or whatever. And she goes, God doesn't care what church you go to, as long as you show up. And it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just show up for you. You know what I mean? And that has nothing to do with like God or Yahweh or whoever you want to believe in, whatever your faith is. But it's about you choosing to show up, and like just getting through it, and you make it. You know what I mean? Like our stories. Like, I will probably never tell like the entirety of my story and background. People don't need to hear it, and it almost sounds like 3 fucking shades of fiction. It's so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I think I like forget about half of it, and then like I start reminiscing. I'm like, holy, how the fuck am I still alive? You know what I mean?
I can't believe I actually can't believe that happened to me.
Like
that
seriously,
was dumb. Like,
it's insane. Like, just so much crap, and like, but people don't need to sit and hear it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm fucking practically bulletproof, and here I am. You know what I mean?
It's true. And the biggest takeaway from that is just show up. Show up for yourself, show up for whatever, like how we were talking about, like you said, what was the mental shift that kind of changed everything, is I just decided to show up for myself every day.
Yeah.
It's like, and people, I don't think a lot of people understand what that means, and it's pretty much just saying, I'm like making the conscious choice to make the right choice, and understanding that consistency is going to beat motivation and discipline is going to beat motivation any day.
And everybody's personality is different. So that's why some people's platform is like, that would be like, oh, I decided I'm going to stop being a bitch. No, I decided I care about myself enough. No, I decided that this is the right thing to do. Whether, what shade of green or black or whatever shade of shit you want to call it, some people just need to hear it in that way, whatever you relate to the most. But you just decided that you needed to shift.
Yeah.
And like I said, when the pain gets bad enough that the effort isn't scary anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And it's funny that you say that, because I kind of remembered the point that I just completely escaped my mind before. But it was basically like showing up for myself and understanding, once you build that level of confidence, you have that small level of ego, how we were mentioning, and you understand like, I trust myself. I trust that I can follow myself. A big part of my story kind of was, you know, after going through a lot of stuff and like not literally having like $6 in my bank account and like, you know, it was deciding that I needed to make the hard choice, but the right choice. That's why I ended up moving to Florida. And the only person I had there was my dad, he wasn't really in my life, but he was like, listen, like, you know, we kind of always like kept in touch, and I spent a couple summers with him. He wasn't present the whole time, but he was like, hey, like, if you want to make a life change, which at that point in life, everybody knew I needed it.
Right.
It was like, take the leap, come here, and we'll just figure it out when you get here. And I went there, like, I had a very small savings. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job. I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't know anything. Yeah. And I pretty much went there and said, I'm just gonna fall back on myself, and I know that I'll do whatever it takes. So I got there within a month, just got like a regular job. I worked at a spa. I worked at a front desk at a spa, and they were like, here's what your role is. And I said, cool, how do I become the best at it? Became the best at it.
Cool.
Went from there, thankfully met some friends actually through a church, and you know, they put me in a position to where I went from there, and I worked at a call center. I said, how do I become the best at this? Cool. Trusted myself that I could learn the necessary skills, became the best at that, got promoted, was working at like an analyst job where I had to learn Excel, learn a bunch of things I've never done before. And again, it was, do you trust yourself to learn this? 100%, I'll bet on me 10 out of 10 times, cool. Ended up getting a really good job. So went from literally nothing to like a little to a lot, to where I was able to buy the car that I've always wanted, to where like I was comfortable. I could go out with my friends and say, hey, like, this round's on me. Or somebody that was in a lesser position where I've had friends in the past like, bro, you can't afford to eat today? Like, dude, I got you, don't worry about it. And I made sure that, you know, the fruits of my labor, I was willing to spread them. And one thing that I always feared was being in a position of not being comfortable. And all you ever want, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, is when you have nothing, all you want is comfort in life. Because you're just like, man, like, I just want something that I can like take and use to be able to just, you know, provide for myself. And I had that, and I realized that that wasn't it for me. I realized that that wasn't where I got fulfillment. So the reason why I'm in California now, just to kind of swing all the way back to the beginning, is I decided that I wasn't gonna pursue comfort. I was gonna pursue being the best at something, or being great at something. I refused to be average. Like, I just didn't want to just sit around and just kind of skate through life. And like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the Warren Buffett method. That's what I call it. It's like, you get a paycheck, you invest over time. 40 years from now, you'll have $1 million and you can kind of retire. It's like, I didn't want that, you know? I didn't want that for myself. So I came here, and initially the goal was to work with my brother who works in finance. And, you know, it was to kind of just build something. But I came here, again, I knew 2 people, didn't have a job, didn't have friends, didn't have anything. And now I'm at the point where I took everything that I learned and was like, how do I put myself in a better situation? If all I've wanted is comfort, I don't want to be comfortable, how do I push myself? So now I'm at the point where it's like, I work technically 3 jobs. I have 2 jobs, I run a small business. And it was just like, just to kind of circle back to the whole thing, is like, comfort's a killer. And I know that we've talked about that. And it's, until I had it, I didn't know it. And I realized that I was almost putting myself in a pit. And that's one thing I appreciate about you, is the fact that you have different ventures that you could step back from and say, like, you know what, like, I just want to travel the world. I just want to have the things I want to have. I just want to do the things I want to do. But it's, you still have that drive to get up every day and still do more. And that's one thing that I actually appreciate about you a lot, is the fact that you're still willing to put it on the line and take the risk and invest the time, money, and effort into doing things to build yourself. And I think that's one thing that younger, older, doesn't matter. Anybody that sees this can kind of take away from that, is it doesn't matter where you are in life. Are you maxing out your capability?
Yeah.
If the answer to that is no, then you need to apply. It's one of my favorite philosophies. I want to say it's Japanese. It's called Kaizen. And the Kaizen philosophy is improving 1%, getting a little bit better every day.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, like, I don't care if you're, I don't care if you're a doctor. It's like, if you're not the best doctor, you're doing something wrong. If you're a scientist, if you're not striving to be the best scientist, then you're doing something wrong. It's like, if a paycheck is willing, if you're okay with a paycheck taking you out of your groove and taking you away from being better.
A lot of people settle.
And it hurts, because, from somebody that I can tell you, like, literally, have you ever gotten your card declined at Taco Bell when you're ordering like a $1 snack, or like, it was like a burrito, it was like one of those, it's like a chicken Chipotle burrito. It's like $1.50 at the time.
Oh yeah, trust me, bro. I was in a wheelchair in TJ in 2019.
Look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Just because you made the conscious choice to, I can only control right now, I can only control today, let's get better.
Yeah, and there's a lot I'm not gonna get into, but yeah, like, everybody, like, if you haven't hit rock bottom, you don't know what it is. Like, trust me, you don't know what hardship is until you've hit rock fucking bottom. Until you have to get out and, like, be like, if I do not get up and figure this out, I'm not gonna eat today. I think a lot of people don't have that, or have never experienced it, and it's a disservice. And I'm not saying that people need to find their down and out, or like become drug addicts or anything, but like, taking a risk, like, say, taking a risk on a venture or doing something and, like, failing and, like, losing everything. To the point where, like, it's not like you need to burn relationships and steal from your family or do anything crazy like that. Like, I had like massive injuries that were so bad that they took me out of, like, life, like, put me in a fucking wheelchair, put me on a fucking couch, things like that. Like, I had major open heart surgery in 2015. You know what I mean? Things like these, and these were like work injuries that I couldn't prevent, and I had to completely rebuild my entire life. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, I was back in the gym, and, like, I needed to fucking do something, but that's also, like, something that, like, in my life and how I've developed as an individual and stuff like that, that's just my mentality, and I think a lot of people can learn it and they can work for it, it's important. But, like, at the end of the day, like you said, like, I choose to get up because I know that, like, one, like, the Warhouse is a good example. This place matters to people, and it's only here because I built it, like, with my fucking hands, you know what I mean? And so I see the impact it makes here in San Diego for the community. So why wouldn't I want to build it elsewhere? We get 100 of messages all the time, like, so we're going to go get property in San Antonio and build there. We're probably going to go to Nashville next. Things like that. We've got Florida is on the next page too, and stuff like that. And I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to sit here and brag about my net worth, because nobody's fucking business. But I'm doing well enough that I have more resources to keep scaling and keep doing what I'm doing. And if I don't get up and go to work every day, there's other people that won't get to go to work every day. Part of my business is provide jobs, and that's important to me. I provide, the means for other people to collect a salary and have paychecks. And I think it's huge, and that's, it's important. That's our community. I moved to San Diego in 2014. I just had my sister here, sister and half brother, and they had some kids. And that was it. And then, like, a couple of years later, they sold their house and moved, to Idaho because it's cheaper, and they were, like, retiring, And I hadn't been here since I was, like, a baby, so, like, I didn't know anyone, And now this is my community. You guys are, like, you know what I mean? These are my people. Like, when we had our, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's party, this is my community. We've built this, This is not just me. This is all of us, And that's important. Like, you can do it anywhere. You can do it with anything you want. Like, you just have to get up and do it. Like, I don't need to brag about how much money I have, cars I have. Oh, did I tell you that, Joe? Shit, sorry, not to venture off. I was talking to my architect because we were talking about that thing where you're like, oh yeah, I bought that dude that's like, oh, I bought this car, and he keeps saying cashed out instead of, like, paid off. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm just like, dude, that's so stupid. Like, so a dude that says he has money is bragging about buying, like, new cars. And I'm just like, and I told my friend who's an architect, I'm like, dude, that's like me bragging about an underwear collection and then shitting my pants. It's like, yeah, dude, I just spent like 600 G's on this car. As soon as it got to my house, it was worth less than 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, depreciation and all that.
That's
I'm like, dude.
that was good. No, you made the one joke that was funny. It was like, if what you built if it ever all got taken away from you, you said it would be hilarious to watch somebody deliver me food in a Phantom. That was
Deliver food to my business that didn't get deleted from the internet.
Yeah, literally. That's actually a really good point too that I kind of want to touch on, because that was a really great piece of advice that you gave me.
Yeah.
Considering everybody in the world that has a camera phone can be on social media.
Think they're making it.
It's exactly, and it's understanding that we do live in a world, and it's very realistic that things online can be controlled and at some point could be taken away from us.
100%.
And the piece of advice you gave me was build something that can never be taken away from you.
Yeah, 100%. Just like, I don't care how much money you think, the internet goes out when it's a really bad storm. You know, if there was ever like a major catastrophe and the power went out and the internet went out, you know, you're not gonna get paid. You know, but you know what? When you still have property and brick and mortar generating, like the taco lady will always make money because she'll show up and make tacos and people will walk up and pay for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's making more money than $1 million wannabe influencer when the internet goes out.
That's true.
I'm just like, cool. I'm like, I'm not saying that there's gonna be some World War III and stuff, but you know, Biden's working really hard. Like, at being the worst human on the fucking planet. But as far as that goes, like, yeah, like, if you don't have something of value that, like, I don't need to hear somebody try to give me financial advice why they rent an apartment that costs more money than a warehouse that I own. I'm like, all I know is I'd love to be his landlord.
So I guess I just want people to understand this. Like, it's not, like, kind of what we talked about, like, you're not saying it's not okay to do those things, but take the things that you grow from it and apply it to something that can never be taken away.
100%. Build yourself a real foundation.
Yeah, and I say that because I know nowadays things get misinterpreted a lot.
Right.
I understand that because we've had this conversation already.
Right.
But a lot of people kind of miss that. It's like, nobody's saying don't pursue that. Don't pursue the thing that you want to pursue regardless of what it is. If you want to be an influencer and dance on TikTok and make money or whatever, do that. Just make sure that whatever you make from it, don't go buy a bunch of expensive shit. Make sure that
or a car that loses its value instantly.
Exactly. You know, don't just go and buy things that lose value. Buy things that create and have value, so that eventually when you have to shift gears, you're able to do so, and those things can
I mean, build yourself a foundation with security.
Exactly.
Not just, oh, look at me, I'm sexy. Like, that's stupid.
Listen, that fades fast.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, so that's where it is, man. And just like I said, like, to wrap all this up, I guess we've been at it for a long time.
We can keep going. But
yeah, this has been good though, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm just gonna say, like you were saying, like, dude, everybody goes through it, and at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to sell you anything. Just built a place that I just want you to show up, man. So at the end of the day, just get your ass to the gym.
Yeah, that's it. Just get here and do something.
There you go.